couple other topics from the Freaks, and we got to do this because there's only one guy in this room here, that's probably, unless someone in the audience is, wearing a Red Wings watch. And that would be Art Regner.
Oh, yeah.
So Red Wings,
it's the only one that works.
Art?
You know what? But it stops the last 2 games of the...
Hey, I can
Did I say Joe?
Hey,
did I say Joe?
Rob, you were backtracking a little bit on Joe Dumars. I'll defend Ken Holland all the time.
Artie.
That was a choke job, though, Art. Will you?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I think, number one, certainly, I think a couple of things that did not fall into place there. They were really hurt and banged up, but that's part of professional sports. And in the end, they had 2 games to win, and the last one was at home. So, yeah, I think that it was disappointing. I think drawing Pittsburgh, who really had a lot to prove, I think next year, if it were the same series and Detroit played Pittsburgh, I think it could probably turn out the other way because the Red Wings now have something against the Pittsburgh Penguins. But I think if you look at this offseason, and this is actually for my next column for Your News, what I would do, Yuri Hudler is going to be back maybe next season. He's not coming back this year. Is that I would...
Much to do about nothing.
Well, he's a serviceable player who is good on the power play and has a good shot. He's able to get to spots and
he really was great in the playoffs.
No one was.
Did he play?
Who besides who really besides Henrik Zetterberg really showed up, from the beginning of the playoffs to the end. Well, Nick,
I thought Nick actually had a bad playoff.
When you get speared in the groin,
that wasn't Nick Lidstrom stuff.
Before they put you under, the anesthesiologist says to him, hey, you may have 1, testicle or 2 when we're out of it. We don't know. I'm going to cut him a little slack. No, but he was. Hey, look,
he was playing
good. He wasn't great.
He was playing like 70%, but I don't want to make excuses. This is what I would do right now. I know they talk about bringing Jason Williams back. His relationship with Mike Babcock, I don't see that happening.
Todd Bertuzzi's the name.
Yeah, I'm not Todd Bertuzzi. They've got about $3.5 million. What I would do is that I would go to Alex Tanguay, and I would try to see if I could sign him for a 1-year deal, much like Hossa. Tanguay on this team.
Wait, you can see the excitement level when you said that.
I think it worked out pretty well, actually.
Yeah. Hossa had 40 goals. Look, what they need is they need somebody who's a proven scorer in the NHL, and Alex Tanguay is a proven scorer. He's dropped off a little bit. He isn't that sexy name, but with what's out there, he's the best player available as far as goal scoring.
But Artie, did they lose too much when they lost Kopetsky and Hossa and Samuelson?
I think the regular season is going to be very bumpy. They'll obviously still make the playoffs. Chris Osgood will be Chris Osgood in the regular season again. Hopefully he'll be good in the playoffs.
Is Jimmy Howard good enough to back him up?
Well, Jimmy Howard, look.
Ty Conklin's gone, baby.
The reason I would go for Tanguay, and I just want to finish this point very, very quickly, is that I think that Tanguay has a lot to prove to the league, and a lot of people think he is on the downside. What better way than to come to a team where you're going to be playing with some of the best players in the world? You still have Datsuk, you still have Zetterberg, and Phil Poole is a good center too. So, and then get Draper. I would definitely try to get Tanguay, but the big question is in net. And don't forget also, there is the trade deadline where they're going to make the playoffs. They still could have money.
That's what I would do. Forget about Tanguay. I'd save their money to the deadline.
That's their second option. If you can't bring in a guy like Tanguay, then I would just keep the money and wait till the trade deadline because they're going to make the playoffs. Virtually everybody does. And then I would decide who can I do and who can I acquire. That's what I do.
Which team since 2004 has in Detroit won the most championships and done the best as far as going further in the playoffs since 2004? Is it the Wings or is it the Pistons?
Pistons.
I would say that they've made it to their final. Yeah, but they've each won cups. They've each won the ultimate championship.
Each lost one.
Each lost in the finals. The Pistons went further in their
every year. But I'm saying it's just a perception when you talk about the Wings that they're head and shoulders above. And if you want to go back 15 years and count those championships, I understand. But those are different people, circumstances, and situations.
Chris Draper's still here. Kirk Maltby's still here.
And it's the same
people
running the organization.
I understand.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, again,
but I'm just trying to say over the last 5 years.
Fine, but the run that the Red Wings have had since 1991, even though they didn't win championships.
But the difference, though, Stoney, is that they were the Yankees of the National Hockey League.
Right.
The year they had 9 possible Hall of Famers on a roster, and Joe Dumars put together. But wait a minute. He put together a championship team without one top 50 player in the NBA. That's all I'm saying is when you look at the difference of those two teams, one is in the middle of the pack, and the other one is the premier franchise in a sport. Would you agree?
I agree with that.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. But you know what? After a while
in Detroit. But they built it that way.
And after a while in Detroit, people say, okay, you make all these conference finals. What was the run? It's like waking up after the hangover. You know, what happened? You know, and you say to yourself,
they should have had one more championship.
They should have won in 05, or was it were they one-hit
yes,
wonders?
It was.
That's a question you have to ask yourself.
I'm going to tell you why.
They were an Eastern Conference dynasty.
But I'll tell you why. Go back and ask yourself if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan. I could go through the list of teams that had a team together to win
for years.
Dallas Mavericks, Portland Trail. I could go through a list of
your Knicks back in the mid-90s
who never got there and never won.
If you're going to compare the wings,
don't discount a championship. Is what I understand that. I understand that.
But the Red Wings, for the past 15, 16 years, whatever it is, 18 years, right, since 1991, have been the most dominant team in all sports.
You know why I go to 91, though? I go to 91 because that's the last time they had a top 10 draft pick, and that was Martin Lapointe.
Right, number 10 overall.
That was the last time.
And they've won how many cups? But they've won 4 cups.
With the Wings, you know what? All due respects to Art Regner and everybody else that loves this team. I love the Detroit Red Wings. I'll go back to the days when Ted Lindsay was coaching and then aggressive hockey is back in town and all that stuff. Let me just tell you this. Now the window's starting to shut.